everybody, it's Rob here from Plymouth Music Zone. Hope you're well, hope everything's good. I'm going to take a break from talking about rhythms and practice exercises and things like this because I would like to talk about hearing loss and tinnitus, which is some of you might know I've been living with for some time now. I'd first written about it in a blog on Plymouth Music Zone's website, which I'll link to below if you're interested to read more about. I wrote that just after the first lockdown. So like the noise and busyness of everyday life had completely changed, and that gave a useful point to kind of reflect on where I was at the time. And what's changed now is that I have hearing aids, which I got last week, and the world sounds completely different now. So I thought that'd be another useful kind of point to bring everything into focus. And I'm hoping by talking about how I got here and how I'm living with hearing damage and those sorts of things, that I'll be able to raise awareness of it, perhaps give people practical tips that have helped me, or give people advice about how to not end up where I have got to with the hearing loss. So yeah, I'm hoping that it'll be useful to hear about. But yeah, today I was going to talk about what it's like, what were the negative effects of living with the hearing damage and tinnitus, what got me to the point where I sought help and got hearing aids. So there was three aspects that were affecting me very negatively. The first aspect was the actual hearing loss itself. So my hearing loss, if you look across the frequencies, there's a kind of tick shape, and that's very common with musicians. And the bit that I've actually lost means that I was finding it I was losing the clarity in people's voices. So at the supermarket, trying to hear somebody through a mask was difficult. Hearing people talk, and if there's a noise going on, so like at home in the kitchen we've got the washing machine, if it's running, I was trying to hear what people were saying, and it was really difficult. So I actually, not being able to hear the clarity in somebody's speech was making things stressful and frustrating. And I realised now, having the hearing aids as well, that I had an anxiety about talking to neighbours because I didn't want to have to keep asking them to repeat themselves, and we're having a distanced conversation. So I've got a newfound kind of confidence now, which I didn't realise before the hearing aids was such a big point of anxiety, but it was. So yeah, the actual loss of those frequencies was the first one. The second sort of area of damage was, an effect of the damage is tinnitus. So all of my waking hours I can hear this kind of metallic hiss, screechy sound, and as I was getting used to the post-COVID sort of lockdown world, I was finding myself in a lot of quiet spaces, and that tinnitus was really shining through, causing discomfort. So just sitting in a quiet place became stressful. I had to have the radio on or manage something else to mask the tinnitus. So there's a whole sort of layer of stress and anxiety that comes with that, because you can't always control your environment as well. I remember going to the doctors when I sort of realised that I need to get more help with my hearing. In the waiting room, I can't control the noise. There was, it was, something else out of your control. So that was anxiety and stress. And then the third sort of prong in the damage is something called hyperacusis, which is to do with sensitivity to certain sounds, which seems a bit weird, that you would lose hearing, and then everyday sounds become incredibly uncomfortable, but that's what happens. So when I was putting mugs away after doing the dishes, if they would clink, that would cause like visceral discomfort. And then I live in I've got a toddler, so he is very good at making loud sounds, as you can imagine. Or just one memory I have particularly is dropping cutlery by accident. A fork would fall off the side or something onto the tiles and just make this clang, and it would absolutely make me jump and sort of panic almost. So there's just that kind of like there's just that kind of factor underneath everyday life where you're constantly worried that something is going to give you that discomfort, or you're trying to do an activity where you know that discomfort is a risk, and it just adds a whole lot of stress and anxiety into everyday life. So that's what I've been living with. In future weeks I want to talk about how I got here, what did the damage, and what I could have done to avoid it, and what you could do. And I want to talk about managing it and living with it. But yeah, so I hope this is going to be useful for you watching, or interesting. But yeah, we will talk about it more next time. Hope you have a lovely week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.